When the police officer asked Vipin if he was admitting his mistake, Vipin pretended to be unaware and said, "What mistake did I commit?" Why would Vipin admit to something he never committed? "You nonsense boy!" the officer shouted angrily, banging his hand on the table. "You say you didn't do anything? Yet you are caught with a group of call girls. Do you think I am a fool?" "I really didn't do anything. I am innocent, sir," Vipin said. He didn't want to admit his mistake because if he did, he would be kept in the lockup for at least 2-3 weeks. "You nonsense." The officer's eyebrows furrowed and his face turned serious. "Didn't you hear? We caught you from a brothel. If you didn't go there to do anything wrong, did you go to play marbles with them?" "I really didn't go there to do the wrong thing you guys think, sir. I just went there to sell something. I am a salesman." "Those girls just forcibly pulled me in," Vipin said in his defense. "What did you say, salesman? Wait a minute. You just told me a while ago that you were a delivery boy?" The officer said suspiciously. "Yes, I am a delivery boy. Who says a delivery boy can't work as a salesman at night?" Vipin said confidently. "Besides, you don't have any proof that I have broken any law. And as far as I know, why should I get involved with those call girls?" Vipin said. But he knew that these people would not listen to him and would consider him a criminal. You are really a clever boy. You know how to beat around the bush," the male officer said, laughing. Then he turned to the female officer and whispered to her, "Aditi, this is a tough guy. It seems we won't be able to stop him with all the things we have." Aditi's expression was as cold as ice at this point. She was staring at the guy sitting in front of her. She suddenly pushed the table and stood up. She looked at Vipin, who was sitting down with a stern look. "This guy, so dirty," she thought in her heart as she remembered the scene earlier. She clenched her teeth, trying hard to stop herself from slapping Vipin. Aditi didn't believe his excuse that he was a salesman at all. Even though Vipin looked gentle and bookish and a little handsome, as the saying goes, he could be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Who knows if there was a dirty face hidden under that innocent face? "What are you looking at? I saved your life," Vipin said to Aditi. "Gum!" Aditi banged her hand on the table in anger. She again remembered the scene from a while ago. "This boy will drive me crazy. He knows how to make me angry." "Okay, then tell me, what did you go to sell?" The words came out one by one from her pointed teeth. "Oh, that is a beauty cream," Vipin said, opening his backpack and taking out a small brass box about half the size of his palm. He opened the lid. Inside the box was a pure white cream that emitted a pleasant fragrance. "This beauty cream is made from ancient herbs. It can whiten the skin and remove any blemishes so that your skin becomes soft and glowing," Vipin explained. "You nonsense boy! Who are you fooling? This is all a complete fraud," the male officer said mockingly. "Sir, please believe me. I can swear on my ancestors that the cream works. Will you try it once, ma'am?" "You can have it for free," Vipin told Aditi. "Keep it to yourself. Who knows what's inside this rubbish cream?" Aditi said, looking at him with disdain. "Then it doesn't matter," Vipin said bitterly. Just then the door to the interrogation room opened. A police constable came in and whispered something in Aditi's ear. Aditi's face changed immediately. She became serious. She listened to the constable carefully and then looked at Vipin. When the constable whispered in Aditi's ear, she listened to him seriously and then announced, "We have checked thoroughly. No one expected that the man was a murderer. That was why he attacked you while trying to escape. It seems we have done a pretty good job." Then she looked at Vipin and said, "As far as this kid is concerned, he is innocent. Both the girls have testified for him." Vipin heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this, but Aditi's face remained stern. "Can I go now, officer?" Vipin said, and at this moment there was a wide smile on his face. Aditi pushed the table as her face darkened with anger. She stood up from her seat and looked straight at Vipin with her eyes. Then she turned angrily and walked out of the room. "You can go now," the other officer standing there told her. When Vipin left the police station, it was dark. "I have to get my bike first. It should still be in front of Paradise Spa," he thought. Vipin hung up his backpack and headed towards the spa. The city's nights are much more dazzling and colorful than the day. Darkness also hides somewhere here. Vipin kept walking on the streets, enjoying the cool night breeze, and was feeling relaxed. The direction of his life was already changing. As long as he continues on this pleasant journey, he will never be short of respect and money. He was moving fast on the road towards his destination with these thoughts in his mind. But then, while walking, he heard someone's voice. "Hi, beautiful girl, where are you going?" "Come!" Have some fun with us too. He heard the laughing voices of some people. Their intentions did not seem good. Damn, she's so hot. She looks no less than a celebrity. If she agrees to spend the night with me, I'll give her my 3 years' worth of earnings, said one man. What's 3 years? I'm ready to give her 5 years' worth of earnings, said another jokingly. Amid the banter, a girl's trembling voice could be heard. Go away! Go away! Don't touch me! She was speaking haltingly and sounded like she was drunk. Vipin's jaw tightened, and his eyebrows furrowed. There were a few bars on the street ahead of him. These people must have come from there. Vipin has always been a nice guy. He couldn't stand seeing someone being harassed in front of him. Last time too, he was hospitalized due to this kindness. Earlier, he used to help people despite being weak, but now he had some powers too, with the help of which he could help anyone without fear. Moreover, every hot-blooded man has a desire to become a hero in his heart. Vipin was also one of them. This is the perfect opportunity to try my powers, Vipin said, clenching his fists. And he moved angrily towards those people. Very soon, he saw a girl stumbling. Her hair was disheveled, due to which he could not see her face. However, her voluptuous body was very alluring. Her figure was well maintained. She was wearing a black western jacket and a tight miniskirt, which showed off the curves of her body. Her long and straight legs were clad in black pantyhose. She was wearing high heels on her feet, which were 7 or 8 centimeters long. The girl was completely drunk and was barely able to maintain her balance. There were 5 or 6 men behind her. They were dressed like goons and did not look like good people at all. Walk carefully, beautiful girl, don't fall. Wait, we'll help you. Don't you know who I am? I am Golden Spear. Come, we'll have fun with me tonight. The man named Golden Spear was probably the leader of those people. He then smiled obscenely and started to extend his hand towards the girl. Wait! A loud sound was heard on the road. The leader got scared and pulled his hand back. He was surprised. Who came there at this time? He looked around. Then he saw a young boy coming from the front. Ha! Where did this fool come from? Maybe he wants to become a hero by saving the girl. Ha! This is good. He laughed loudly while holding his stomach. All the goons standing behind him also started laughing. Is there something wrong with this stupid boy's mind? Probably he's full of dung, the goons said, mocking Vipin, who was walking rapidly towards them. The goons looked to be about 25 or 30 years old and were dressed like gangsters. Their leader wore a tight leather jacket and had yellow hair. His eyes were slanted and he had a lewd look. The leader looked at Vipin and laughed. Kid, mind your own business. I'm in a good mood today and I don't want to get my hands dirty. Then he turned to his men and ordered, Go! Quickly catch this girl and take her to your base. The other goons rubbed their palms excitedly and started moving towards the girl as soon as they heard the boss's order. Wait! Vipin shouted and started running towards them. Don't touch her, you dirty sewer worms! Kid, mind your own business or you won't get out of here alive, said one of the goons, folding his arm upwards. But when he saw Vipin coming towards him, his face turned stern and scary. He hit Vipin with a powerful punch. The punch had a lot of power, and it was moving towards Vipin, cutting through the air at lightning speed. Any ordinary man would have fainted seeing the power of this punch, but Vipin was no ordinary boy anymore. When the goon raised his fist, he looked happy rather than scared. He also clenched his fist tightly, seeing the powerful punch coming towards him. Stupid kid, the goon smiled because he looked very strong. He was at least 6 feet tall, and Vipin was a skinny young boy in front of him. The goon was confident that one of his blows would be enough to make Vipin fall to the ground. But Vipin wasted no time and immediately responded with his fist. His hand now had the strength he had recently acquired. He moved forward, keeping his fist straight in front of the punch of that powerful goon. As their fists collided, the goon's face turned pale. His eyes were wide open and pain was evident on his face. Sweat started pouring down his forehead, and his painful screams echoed in the quiet night. Ah! He grabbed his right hand, screaming in pain, and took a few steps back before colliding with a car. Seeing his condition, it seemed as if he had seen a monster. Fear for Vipin was clearly visible in his eyes. He held his hand tightly and started trembling in pain. The other goons were also shocked to see this scene. They could not believe their eyes that a skinny 19 or 20-year-old boy had defeated a strong man with just one punch. What? You are joking with us, right? The yellow-haired goon said, rubbing his eyes in disbelief. Vipin himself was shocked. He had gone to the hill to test his strength. But this was the first time he had seen the effect of his strength on a human being. So you guys still want to fight? Or will you quietly leave from here through the narrow lane? Vipin said jokingly to them. Now he did not need to be afraid of anyone. Kid, who are you to threaten me? I have been ruling these areas since you were not even born, and you want to fight me? Me? You probably do not know what Golden Spear is, Golden Spear said angrily. Golden Spear took out a switchblade from his back and moved forward to attack Vipin. Behind him, all the goons also took out their blades and started moving to attack Vipin. Kid, no one can save you today! There was sternness and cruelty on Golden Spear's face. He raised his hand to stab the blade on Vipin's chest. Vipin got a little scared seeing the blade. Last time too, he was hospitalized for half a month because of a knife. But he immediately put aside his nervousness and composed himself and focused on all the goons. He estimated the positions of the goons with the help of his fast reflexes. Just as Golden Spear's blade was about to hit him, Vipin twisted his legs and avoided the blade. Then with lightning speed he caught hold of Golden Spear's knife hand and bent that hand like a rubber band. Jat-tar, jat-tar. Everyone heard the sound of a bone breaking, and immediately after that a heart-rending scream of pain. Brother Danny! The other goons shouted. They wanted to help him, but they were some distance away from him. Vipin's eyes seemed to have turned bloodshot. He lifted Danny aka Golden Spear up with one hand and started moving towards the other goons, spinning him like a spinning top. All the goons were terrified to see their boss in this condition. Just then, Danny, who was spinning, fell on a goon and he fell unconscious. Vipin pounced on the remaining goons like a tiger attacking a herd of sheep. The next moment, the sounds of kicks and punches started resonating. About 2 minutes later, all the goons were scattered on the floor, crying like children. Oh, today was fun, Vipin said, shaking his hands and taking a deep breath. The goons were unable to bear their pain, and they stopped crying and stood up by supporting each other. For a moment they looked into Vipin's eyes, and his gaze sent shivers throughout their bodies. They said, scared and hesitant, "This boy is not a human being, but a beast in human disguise." Having said this, all of them ran away from there with their tails between their legs, like a dog runs away after seeing a lion. Yar, what goons they were! They ran away so quickly, the fun had just begun, Vipin said, laughing. Then he looked back after the goons ran away from there. There the girl drunk was standing staggeringly holding onto a car, and it looked like she could fall at any moment. Vipin hesitated for a moment but still went ahead. Hey, miss, are you okay? He said, extending a hand to support the girl. But the girl shook off his hand and said, No, don't touch me, go away. Then she started laughing loudly like a child. She had turned halfway while pushing Vipin's hand away, giving Vipin a view of her sensuous side profile. Her skin was as white as ivory. Her mesmerizing red lips and long straight nose made her even more alluring. Her thin, phoenix-like eyes, black thick long hair, which was waving here and there in the moonlight, added to the beauty of this girl. Seeing her beauty, Vipin's breath stopped for a moment. What is happening to me today? I have encountered 2 beautiful girls in a single day, Vipin said to himself. Before today, he had never encountered even the shadow of a beautiful girl while walking on the streets. And today suddenly he was faced with 2 girls. First that lady police officer Aditi, and the second one was standing in front of him. Both the girls were more beautiful than the other, and both had their own unique personalities. Then the girl standing in front of him started to falter, and she started falling. But before she could fall down, Vipin caught her by the waist. Hello miss, are you okay? What is your name? Where do you live? Vipin asked loudly. That girl mumbled something, but Vipin could not understand anything from her mumbling, because she was drunk. She herself did not know what she was saying. After some time she stopped mumbling and fell asleep in Vipin's arms. Vipin was looking at that girl in surprise, because now he could not understand what he should do. He couldn't just leave her on the road. If he knew her address, he would have dropped her there. But he didn't even know her address. Then I'll drop her off at a hotel room, he told himself. This was probably the best decision. Vipin supported her and started walking towards a nearby hotel. The hotel was about 100 meters away. On reaching the hotel, Vipin picked her up in his arms and took her to a room. After entering the room, Vipin made her lie down on the bed. As she lay down on the bed, the girl mumbled, "Heat! Why is it so hot here?" She mumbled drunkenly, and then she started taking off her clothes. Hey, miss, what are you doing?" Vipin said nervously. When the girl woke up about an hour later, she was shocked to find herself in the hotel room without clothes. She didn't know how to look into Vipin's eyes. Vipin picked up a blanket lying nearby and covered her tightly. The girl grabbed the blanket and covered herself and fell asleep once again. Vipin heaved a sigh of relief when he saw her asleep and then went and sat on the couch. He did not leave her alone in the hotel room and waited until morning for her to wake up. He then opened his backpack, took out some medicinal herbs, and started making a spiritual liquid right there in the hotel room. The bright morning sunlight was coming in through the cracks in the curtains, dimly illuminating the room. Vipin was sitting on the floor near the bed. He had been busy making spiritual liquid all night. At this time, his body was also glowing with the light of the wisdom chakra. But he was still at the first level of the wisdom chakra. The wisdom chakra was divided into 3 levels: first level, second level, and third level. Despite being at the first level, Vipin could still be considered weak, as he was not able to cast spells or make talismans. These techniques required him to have mastered at least the second and third levels of the wisdom wheel. He estimated that if he continued to increase his powers at this pace, he would reach the second level of the wisdom wheel in just a few months. Vipin opened his eyes when he felt the sunlight on his face. It was morning. Vipin first yawned and then stretched. He was in a good mood despite not sleeping all night. He pulled back all the curtains on the windows. The morning sunlight felt soothing. He turned around and saw that there was some movement under the blanket on the other bed. Then a head came out from under the blanket, and a pair of hands rubbed sleepy eyes. A girl woke up and stretched her arms and yawned. As she stretched her arms, the blanket covering her fell down. As the blanket fell, Vipin's eyes were fixed on that wonderful sight. The girl's slender waist was shining like a water snake. As she was stretching here and there, her waist was also swaying here and there like a snake. She was shining like a work of art in the morning sunlight. Her lazy movements were making her even more attractive. Vipin looked at her without blinking. He felt his nose get hot and almost bleeding. The girl was yawning, oblivious to all this, without a care in the world. About 10 seconds later, she realized something was not right. She turned around and saw Vipin standing near the window. Then she looked at her body. Her beautiful face turned pale and she let out a loud scream. You half-blooded animal, what have you done to me?" She grabbed the blanket and wrapped it around her body. Her face had an expression of panic and helplessness. She was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Was her dignity, which she had protected for so many years, lost so casually? Vipin quickly started to explain to her. "Miss, you are mistaken. I did not do anything. I was passing by a bar yesterday when I saw some goons harassing you, so I chased them away. I thought about sending you back home, but you passed out. I didn't know where you lived, so I brought you here. I didn't really do anything. You took off your clothes yourself."